finishes it off. The Blue Jays get a remarkable performance from Yassavage and offense everywhere as they beat the Yankees 13-7, and they're going to take a 2-0 lead into the Bronx.
A big league entrance as the Blue Jays look to take a bite out of the Big Apple. Good evening. After decisive wins over the weekend here at home, the Jays have arrived in New York City ready to take on the Yankees in the third and what could be final game of the ALDS.
Toronto fans are thrilled after the team got off to a stellar start. CTV's Allison Hurst has been speaking with fans today, including one who has a souvenir from yesterday's game that he will never forget. Allison.
Michelle, yes, we've been speaking with lots of fans who are absolutely thrilled, elated over this weekend's baseball. But yes, one lucky fan who caught that Grand Slam baseball, he says he hasn't left it out of his sight.
Deep left field. It is a Grand Slam.
A moment in Blue Jays franchise history. Caught in the stands by Brendan Craig, barehanded overhead in the second deck.
Instincts took over, and I played ball my whole life, so all those years of practicing and playing, they finally paid off.
Craig and his wife bought their tickets on Facebook Marketplace to catch the game.
Funny enough, the person who I bought the tickets off, his pitch to sell them was good spot for a Vladdy bomb.
The seats lived up to the promise, made sweeter by it also being the first Grand Slam in postseason franchise history. But the history-making didn't stop there.
6 Ks through 2 2/3.
Rookie pitcher Yassavage took the mound in his first ever postseason start.
He's built for this game. It's awesome.
Setting a franchise record 11 strikeouts in a no-hit postseason game, and he did it in just 5 innings.
What a nice young man. That very pleased the way he's handling the situation.
Yassavage felt the support at the mound.
The energy and the passion that this fan base has, and all 44,000 people that were here tonight, is special.
With the way the entire team played this weekend,
Now Varsho drills one.
fans are feeling pretty confident heading to the Bronx.
3-0 and keep going up to the World Series.
The team is so good this year. I think they're gonna go just up till they win.
Optimistic but not cocky. So I think we can get this series, but it's one game at a time.
Craig will be watching, Grand Slam ball in hand. But what he's going to do with it?
I don't really know, don't have a plan yet. If they're interested in it, I'd be happy to talk with them and get it back because it's a pretty historic ball.
In an historic series that's not over yet. The Blue Jays and the Yankees are back at it tomorrow for Game 3 in New York City. That game gets underway just after 8 o'clock. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. And the team spoke to the media today in New York as they prepare for Game 3 tomorrow.
One pitch at a time, one at bat at a time, one game at a time. That's my mentality on every swing. I mean, like I say, just continue to go out there and do the best I can to win, to help my team win. And if for whatever reason I don't do the job, I gotta trust the rest of my teammates to do their job.
I think Vlad has been dealing with some level of awe or superstardom from when he was a teenager. You know, I remember fans chasing our bus down the road in AA, you know, wanting his autograph or Bo's autograph. So he's been dealing with this for a long time, and he's gotten really, really good at handling it. I think when he signed his extension, I think he kind of understood that with that comes a little bit of an extra responsibility to the organization, to the city, to the country. And he's really kind of tackled that head on.
And our Sean Leathong is there. You can look forward to his coverage tomorrow. Right now, lovely weather in both New York City today and here in Toronto. We had 2 days with the Dome open, and the October sizzle continues tonight. It sure feels like summer this hour. And how picturesque as we look along the lake there. Lindsay Morrison is here with the current conditions. We care about the conditions here in the city, but also we have our eye on New York because there is a big game tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a Game 3 happening tomorrow in the Bronx, Michelle. So let's take a look at what we can expect around game time. Partly cloudy skies, and it's interesting because the same wet weather that's going to impact us here in southern Ontario will eventually head to New York. but it looks like it could hold off long enough for it to be dry for that very important game. No dome at Yankee Stadium. Let's talk about Toronto. 27 degrees right now, feeling like 31. It was another hot day today. In fact, it was the hottest of the stretch at 28 degrees. Winds are coming out of the south right now. All is pretty clear on the satellite and radar for the time being. That's a cold front that is going to cool us down. It's also going to bring us some wet weather, beginning in some cases overnight and into the pre-dawn hours tonight and into tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow itself is a bit of an unsettled day. So we'll give you an idea of how much rain is in the forecast, plus a bit of a cool down for midweek. All of those details are coming up. For now, Michelle, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. And still ahead tonight, why some of the most popular liquor brands on LCBO shelves may be about to disappear unless a global manufacturer changes its mind.
But first, a woman has died after being pinned under a bus at Royal York Station. It happened shortly before 1:30 this afternoon in the bus bay at the station near Bloor and Royal York Road. So far, there's no word on what led to the woman being pinned under the bus. The TTC released a statement which reads in part, "On behalf of everyone at the TTC, I extend our deepest condolences to the individual's family and loved ones during this incredibly difficult time. We are working closely with the Toronto Police Service as they investigate the circumstances surrounding this tragic incident."
A 58-year-old man is fighting for his life in hospital after being struck by a vehicle in Oshawa. It happened around 7:15 p.m. yesterday in the area of Albert Street and Athol Street East. Police say the man was riding an e-scooter when he was struck by a vehicle making a right turn from Albert Street. He was taken to a Toronto area trauma center with life-threatening injuries. Police say alcohol is believed to be a factor in this crash, but say the exact cause is under investigation. Meantime, 2 people were taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries following a crash in Schaumburg. This happened in the area of Highway 9 and 11th Concession around 9:45 a.m. The cause of this crash is under investigation. And Durham police are investigating after a vehicle collided with a hydro pole in Ajax. It happened shortly after 12 p.m. on Lake Ridge Road, south of Victoria Street West. Police have not provided any details about possible injuries here.
And an investigation is underway following a suspicious fire at a business in the Annex. Flames broke out at a business on Bloor, just west of Brunswick Avenue, shortly after 5 a.m. Toronto Fire says they received reports someone threw something on fire into the store. Nobody was inside at the time, and the flames were quickly put out. Police are treating the incident as suspicious and say an investigation is ongoing.
Still ahead, Prime Minister Carney travels to Washington, back at the White House tomorrow for a high-stakes sit-down with President Trump. Could the meeting pave the way for tariff relief? The Premier is threatening to pull some of the most popular brands off the shelves of the LCBO.
All over plans by an international manufacturer to close a bottling plant here in Ontario. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris is following this story and joins us live from outside an LCBO tonight. Siobhan.
Well, the Premier says this decision by Diageo is wrong-headed, and he's intent on using the leverage, the purchasing power of the LCBO to make a point. Some booze-run staples may disappear from the LCBO in a matter of months. It's the latest round in a standoff between Doug Ford and Diageo, the owner of brands like Bailey's, Captain Morgan's, Guinness, and Crown Royal.
This is what I think about Crown Royal. That's what they could do.
The Premier's pour out last month over a planned closure of a Crown bottling plant in Amherstburg outside Windsor. The work shifting to the U.S., costing about 200 Canadians their jobs.
We're pulling Crown Royal off our shelves as soon as the last person leaves that plant. And then we'll look at Smirnoff's next.
The biggest selling vodka brand in the country. Ford brushing off any potential hit to the LCBO's bottom line or any further job losses for Diageo.
We do over $765 million, more than any jurisdiction anywhere in the U.S. or in Canada. And they want to close down a plant over what, $8 million of wages they think they're going to save?
There is worry amongst Canadian farmers who raise the rye for Crown, and there are plants in Manitoba and Quebec. Ford emphasizes the LCBO is one of the biggest buyers of booze in the world.
And I'll use that leverage to make sure we send a signal.
Outside this Toronto LCBO, there is some toasting to that idea.
I know they're upset about losing the jobs in Windsor, so if that's a way of addressing that and trying to protest it a little bit, then sure, I'd support it.
But there are more calls to give this a sober second thought.
It's Canadian. Keep it on the shelves.
This is getting beyond ridiculous now.
I would think that it's probably better to just wait and see what sort of end of negotiations are in with the company.
The opposition says the hit to other provinces needs to be considered to keep the United Canadian Front intact.
I'd like to see less of these stunts and actually more work. What has he actually done to try to address the closure of the Amherstburg plant since he started pouring out the Crown Royal?
The Amherstburg plant is scheduled to close by February. I did ask Diageo what they make of this expanded threat from the Premier and whether it will have any effect on their future business plans. I didn't hear back. Reporting live, I'm Siobhan Morris. Nathan and Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. In Etobicoke, community concerns over a proposed shelter are now being taken to court.
A group of neighbors decrying a lack of public consultation, now launching a lawsuit against their city councillor. CTV's Natalie Johnson with the details.
Behind this notice of development sits a parking lot slated to become a shelter.
No one's engaged with you to ask you how it might impact your life?
No, nobody. A site that some neighbors say is the right cause, wrong spot.
It will be a magnet for criminal activity. If you walk around the city, you can see it happening at almost every shelter.
The proposed 50-bed facility for seniors on 3rd Street in South Etobicoke is part of the city's plan to open as many as 20 new shelters across Toronto by 2033. The locations chosen by city staff amid cries from some residents that they were not consulted.
There are so many red flags across the board, and it seems that their need to hurry and shove this through has been greater than their own rules.
Now, in a push to stop the shelter on this site, a community group is launching legal action against their local councillor, who has for months faced backlash over the plan, as well as the consultant on the project.
It's just been a complete joke, like zero engagement. So at that point, we thought, what are the options? And this looked like our only option left.
The lawsuit alleges that the city's site selection process was negligent and procedurally unfair, and that the community consultation was biased, performative, and designed to limit the input of residents.
Local councillors don't have anything to do with the site selection.
Etobicoke Lakeshore councillor Amber Morley could not comment on the lawsuit itself, but stressed the need for the safe integration of the shelter into the community.
We've been navigating challenges with encampments, getting people who are currently unhoused or vulnerably housed situated to the supports that they need. We know that we need more supports and more local supports. And so this opportunity has come about, and as the local councillor, I'm supportive of the city moving forward with these necessary resources.
Meanwhile, the consultant named in the lawsuit told CTV News in a statement, quote, "My career has been focused on strengthening neighborhoods through inclusive policy, transparent governance, and grassroots engagement. My work is grounded in a belief that vibrant, equitable neighborhoods are built not just by policy, but by people."
These people don't have the luxury of being able to move.
The group behind the community-funded lawsuit says it hopes this court case will make the city think twice.
There's a good opportunity for the courts to look at this and say that from a democratic standpoint, you have to engage with your communities.
Pledging to reinvest any damages that could be awarded back into the community if the suit stops the shelter. Natalie Johnson, CTV News.
Another home shooting in Vaughan has left residents on edge.
It's the latest in a recent rash of shootings targeting homes in York region dating back to last month. CTV's Janice Golding has the story.
Residents didn't want to share their video for fear of their homes being identified, but you can hear a gun go off 13 times in security footage.
Everybody heard, like pop, 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 pop. First we thought maybe it was someone banging on the door.
I was awoken at 3:40 in the morning to several gunshots. When I came downstairs, I saw a car speeding away. I called the police. The neighbor was in disbelief.
Neighbor after neighbor on Chopin Boulevard, which is in the area of Autumn Hill and Thornhill Woods, expressing shock that this shooting happened in their neighborhood.
I was hoping it was fireworks until you hear the car door slamming and peeling away, then you realize that it's a little bit more sinister.
In security video seen by CTV News, you can see a white SUV pull up to the house. A man exits the rear passenger door and a few seconds later opens fire on the home in 2 separate volleys. He then returns to the car, which quickly leaves the scene. This marks the 7th time since early September that a house has been fired upon in Vaughan. Police say they can't confirm if this shooting was connected to the other 6, the last of which occurred about a 10-minute drive away, but say they want to reassure residents this was not a random attack.
We do hear their concerns, and they need to know that these incidents are targeted, right? The people involved, there's reasons why these shots are being fired.
Last month, York Regional Police formed a new firearms investigations team to combat the issue. In a statement today, the city's mayor, Stephen Del Duca, commended police for their hard work while also saying enough is enough. These instances are a direct result of a broken criminal justice system that catches and releases repeat offenders instead of keeping them behind bars. I cannot express this enough. This behavior cannot be tolerated any longer. We need stronger and tougher laws and real bail reform from the federal government immediately. Many area residents say they couldn't agree more.
Alarming, concerning, and quite frankly, in my honest belief, a direct result of the Liberal soft-on-crime policy that needs to change immediately.
One of the homes, which was actually targeted twice in the last month, once belonged to Alexander Vinogradsky, a murdered member of the GTA tow truck industry. No injuries have been reported in any of the shootings. The investigation continues, with officers saying there will be an increased police presence in the area for the time being. Janice Golding, CTV News.
Ontario's opposition is calling for change after a CTV News story last week showed hundreds of thousands of Highway Traffic Act charges in the past year never made it to trial.
As CTV's John Woodward reports, the NDP says letting that many people go unpunished amounts to lawlessness.
That white SUV is running a stop sign on Shaw Street in Toronto straight into the path of a cyclist. The cyclist survived, the driver was charged, but months later those charges were dropped.
The simple slap on the wrist of the Highway Traffic Act ticket and penalty is not even administered.
Part of a pattern that CTV News and W5 reported on last week. Among some 250,000 Highway Traffic Act charges dropped before trial.
Ontario's justice system is failing its basic promises of fairness, timeliness, and public safety.
Today, NDP Justice critic Kristen Wong-Tam highlighted higher rates when you include those charges withdrawn at trial. Nearly 9,000 careless driving charges, almost a third of the total laid. 9,300 driving while suspended charges, again almost a third. And 5,500 stunt driving charges withdrawn, or around 4 in 10. Put together, that's 338,000 charges that never see the light of day, more than 1 in 10.
If there are no consequences to offenses, there are no consequences to crimes committed, then we become a land of lawlessness.
Wong-Tam calling for better funding of the justice system, a prosecutors' union saying they need more people to do the work.
Local 79 sees there being a staffing crisis in the prosecutor's office.
The Ford government pointing to roadside suspensions that police can lay directly. The governing PCs are also looking to remove automated speed cameras years after they passed laws allowing them.
I was really badly hurt. I had multiple fractures to my pelvis.
Anna Pratt was hit on her bike in 2022. The charges there were dropped.
I really was beyond disappointed. I was upset. I was angry. And I really felt that I had been completely ignored by the system.
A system that in hundreds of thousands of cases lets drivers who do things like this go unpunished. John Woodward, CTV News.
The Prime Minister is due to arrive in Washington, D.C. this hour for another meeting with Donald Trump at the White House.
The Carney government is trying to temper expectations for tomorrow's meeting amid calls for some tariff relief. CTV senior political correspondent Mike Locatour reports.
Canadian officials are cautiously optimistic that tomorrow's meeting could pave the way for some relief on steel tariffs. And politicians from both sides of the border are hoping for the same.
I'll be very blunt. You never know what comes out of a meeting with President Trump.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford is hoping for some tariff relief, but says the U.S. president will say one thing one day and then change course the next. At a gathering of governors and premiers from around the Great Lakes, Pennsylvania's Josh Shapiro said tariffs are hurting the U.S.
We're still seeing prices go way up because the president decided to push the tariff button and drive up costs on the American people. It is dangerous, the rhetoric he's engaged in, and his practices are making things cost more.
U.S. tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum remain at 50%, while Trump is increasing levies on other products like softwood lumber and wood furniture. One former special advisor on Canada-U.S. relations for then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau believes Tuesday's meeting could yield some progress.
Either because you hope that you're close to an agreement and you would like to push it over the finish line with a signature moment and a handshake and an opportunity, or to push forward on something that's stalled or slowed.
Expectations are high from opposition leader Pierre Poilievre. In a letter to the Prime Minister, the Conservative leader demanded Carney keep his campaign promise to negotiate a win, including the removal of all tariffs on Canadian goods.
A White House spokesperson, Caroline Leavitt, says trade will be one of the many issues discussed between Carney and Trump when they meet in the Oval Office. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Meanwhile, Trump announced a 25% tariff on medium and heavy-duty trucks effective November 1st. Last month, he said heavy truck imports would face new duties to protect manufacturers from unfair outside competition.
The federal government is changing when it delivers the budget and how it calculates expenditures. The Liberals say the changes will provide more clarity, but critics insist it's a move to downplay increasing debt. CTV's Judy Trin has the details.
In a break with long-standing practice, the finance minister says all future budgets will come down in the fall, enabling the government to get transfer payments out earlier in the fiscal year.
It's also going to provide more predictability, I would say, for provinces and territories. I've been talking to them, businesses and organizations that rely on federal funding.
The Liberals are also changing the budget framework to separate day-to-day spending from capital investments. Operational day-to-day costs include health and social transfers and government salaries, while capital investments encompass spending on major projects, housing, clean energy, and infrastructure.
When will the budget be balanced?
At the Finance Committee, the opposition slammed the minister for budget changes that don't add up.
Debt is still debt at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how many columns you try to present in front of Canadians and try to trick them. Are you guys going to be cooking the books?
It's irresponsible for a member of parliament to use language like that. I will say that. It's irresponsible.
The changes come after the interim parliamentary budget officer estimated that Canada's deficit will grow to $68.7 billion this year. Some economists say clearly showing how much the government is spending on capital investment is important.
What are we using debt finance for? Is it for, for capital investment, like, in terms that will be there for decades, or is it for current consumption?
The government says it will balance its operational budget, the day-to-day spending, in 3 years. For more details, the finance minister says we'll have to wait until November 4th when he tables the budget. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
In Egypt, indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas have begun. Both sides have endorsed the overall principles of U.S. President Donald Trump's peace plan. It would see an end to the fighting, the release of the hostages, and an influx of aid to Gaza. But they're seeking clarification of crucial details of the proposal. Some of the contentious issues include demands that Israel pull out of the enclave and Hamas lay down its weapons. The plan has the backing of Arab and Western countries. Tomorrow is the second anniversary of the Hamas attack on Israel that killed 1,200 people. 251 others were taken hostage. Israel's retaliatory military campaign has killed more than 67,000 Palestinians.
Political turmoil in France after the prime minister abruptly resigned today, only hours after announcing his cabinet. Sébastien Lecornu tendered his government's resignation, making it the shortest-lived administration in modern French history. Lecornu resigned after allies and opponents both threatened to topple his new administration. President Emmanuel Macron has now tasked Lecornu to hold last-ditch talks with other political parties to try and find a way out of the crisis by Wednesday. France has had 5 prime ministers in 21 months.
3 scientists are sharing this year's Nobel Prize in medicine. They're being recognized for shedding light on how the immune system spares healthy cells.
It's an honor to have been part of that initial work, and I, have been following following, what is happening in medicine and how that discovery could have helped.
Americans Mary Brunkow and Fred Ramsdell will receive the award, along with Shimon Sagakuchi from Japan. Their work relates to how we keep our immune system under control to fight microbes while avoiding autoimmune disease. Their discoveries could lead to possible new treatments for that and cancer. Medicine is the first prize of the Nobel season.
Well, it's worth looking up tonight. Sky gazers are in for a treat when the first supermoon of 2025 begins. It will be the largest and brightest full moon so far this year. That is because its elliptical path is bringing our celestial neighbor to its closest point, just over 363,000 kilometers from Earth. October's full moon is called the harvest moon because it is the one closest to the first day of fall. NASA says tonight's moon will reach its peak at 11:48 p.m. Supermoons occur 3 to 4 times a year. The next two will take place on November 5th and 6th.
Coming up, eliminating the backlog for mental health care. A program at William Osler Health finds a remedy, getting patients the treatment they need sooner.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, if you're buying a car, you might be pitched Gap Insurance. It's supposed to pay off your loan if you owe more than the vehicle is worth. But Gap Insurance doesn't cover things like warranties or protection plans. All of that story, that's just ahead.
Well, what a stretch of October warmth. Interestingly enough, though, since Friday, it's been feeling like summer, but no day have we broken a temperature record. We've come close, but not quite. A reminder that our seasonal norm is now about 16 degrees. We've been well above that. We were 12 degrees warmer than that today. Tomorrow, though, this is a bit of a change, 21 for the high. And then wait till you see how much cooler it's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, not just during the day, but early in the morning. A full look at your forecast is coming up. And stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
If you're buying a new or used car, you want to purchase Gap Insurance. It can pay off your loan if you owe more than a car is worth.
Gap Insurance can be expensive, and as one viewer found out, it doesn't cover everything if your car is written off or stolen. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Nathan and Michelle. Earlier this year, a man bought a car, and only 3 months later, it was stolen out of his driveway. He had Gap Insurance, but it doesn't cover everything, and now he owes almost $7,000 on a car he no longer has. In March of this year, Sujesh Putinvitil of Mississauga bought a 2023 Audi A4. Unfortunately, in June, just 3 months later, the car was stolen.
Middle of the night from my driveway.
With financing, he paid almost $54,000 for the car. Included in the price, he also paid for a 3-year maintenance package, a 6-year extended warranty, and Gap Insurance. Gap Insurance has guaranteed asset protection. In the event your vehicle is totaled or stolen, it pays off your loan if you owe more than your car is worth.
I contacted the Gap Insurance. So they said they are not going to cover everything.
When the car was stolen, Putinvitil's insurance company paid just over $39,000 for the car, and the Gap Insurance paid almost $6,400. But there is still an amount owing of $6,900. That's because Gap Insurance doesn't cover things like warranties and maintenance packages.
Since I haven't used any of them, and I'm using my car only for 3 months, they should refund that to me.
Oftentimes, a lot of those products don't add any value to the vehicle. So if your vehicle is written off, but you owe thousands of dollars for all of the add-ons that you purchased, well, you're on the hook for that.
Car Help Canada says dealerships pitch expensive add-ons that may not be worth buying, and if you do, and your car is written off in an accident or stolen, you might not be reimbursed for them. If you're considering Gap Insurance, make sure you know what's covered before buying it.
Not only is Gap Insurance often very overpriced, but it's a product for a problem that should not exist to begin with.
Putinvitil says his dealer offered to refund $600 for the maintenance package, and the warranty company offered him $250. He would still owe $6,000 for a car he no longer has.
Since I owe like $6,000, I don't have any plan to buy a car.
And Car Help Canada suggests trying to keep car loans to no more than 4 years if possible. 5, 6, and 7-year loans are when you'll have a bigger gap if a vehicle is stolen or written off. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
Let's talk about the forecast. You know, what a great weekend we had. And what was beautiful was that the entire weekend, the conditions were perfect for baseball. We did our job.
That weekend was one to remember. And you felt kind of bad being inside watching the game, but hopefully a lot of us got outside during the day, which was really nice. And, oh, goodness, those Jays. I mean, things are looking good. Tomorrow, too, won't be rainy, at least in New York.
Well, it's interesting. We had a lot of chatter before the weekend about whether or not the Dome was going to be open. And I don't know, maybe it was good luck that it was. I'm just not certain we're going to have weather conditions quite like what we had this past weekend going forward. A bit of a change is on the way for us here locally starting tonight and into tomorrow. Let's show you what it looked like through this afternoon. It was a gorgeous day, a beautiful day to be out on the water. Our CTV News chopper capturing some beauty shots around our city. Yeah, it was a nice one to spend some time outside today. If you could handle the fact that at the height of it, it felt like 32 out there. Is this the last hurrah? We've said that a couple of times about summer 2025, have we not? Before I talk about the change that is coming starting overnight tonight, just want to remind you that tonight we have a harvest supermoon. So yes, both happening at the same time. And what I want to point out is the fact that it's going to peak in brightness at around 11:49 p.m. And why is that important? Well, it looks like we're going to beat the active weather moving in. So a bit of an increase in cloud cover as we make our way into the overnight hours, but this evening should be mostly clear. See this wet weather? That's along a cold front, so it's a bit of a 1-2 punch. We're going to get a round of showers, maybe thunderstorms in some areas too, and then that front is also going to do its part in cooling us down. Now, it's not looking like a soaker here in the city of Toronto. In fact, the latest models show a little less rain for us, a little more rain for Hamilton over toward Niagara Falls. Doesn't take much for this to change. And of course, if we do get thunderstorms, you can expect that we will see the rainfall amounts be higher than that in the GTA. Here's about 6 a.m., maybe some rumbles of thunder north of the city into cottage country and along the shoreline of Lake Erie. Bring the umbrella with you as you are heading out because another round of wet weather moves in for the afternoon. It looks like by the evening, mid-evening, let's say, this should clear out. Again, fingers crossed that this wet weather is going to hold off impacting the Bronx, but it looks like eventually late evening, some of that rain is going to impact New York City. We clear out into the day on Wednesday. It's going to be beautifully sunny again, but it is going to be cooler. We're going to have winds coming out of the north. Speaking of cool, it's been quite cool recent days in the Canadian prairies. There were even a few first flurries in parts of Alberta. Right now, it is now 26 degrees in Toronto. Still feels like 29. So as the sun sets, you might still be able to enjoy some warmth. It is going to be warm overnight tonight. 18 degrees for a low. That is warmer than our average daytime high this time of year, and it's well above the seasonal norm of 7 for a low this time of year. Here's tomorrow at a glance. Best chance for some thunderstorms comes in the morning. Showers, another round of them into the afternoon. And a little snapshot of the temperatures expected across the region. Upper teens, low 20s, pretty much everywhere. And overnight lows close to 5 degrees for Wednesday and Thursday. Friday morning could be chilly as well. Here's an early look at the Thanksgiving long weekend. Partly cloudy skies and temperatures back in the upper teens, but near normal for this time of year. That's the forecast for now. Michelle, over to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Also tonight, an all-new chapter for a beloved Canadian band. Rush reveals plans for a reunion tour next year, returning to the stage in celebration of their music and the life of their late drummer. This is Mental Health Awareness Week, and for many seeking treatment, wait times for programs can be weeks or even months.
At William Osler Health, one program has been able to eliminate its backlog. Our health reporter Pauline Chan has the details.
Rebecca, who prefers to remain anonymous, has been a mental health client for some 3 decades, beginning with waiting several months for treatment of an eating disorder.
When I had to wait, I felt like no one cared I felt like a number.
Now she's getting therapy for her mental health relating to a family member with addiction problems. But unlike her first experience, she was able to get next-day access to care thanks to a restructuring of the addictions program at William Osler Health. Megan Galbraith says before the pandemic, there were backlogs, especially with people awaiting one-on-one counseling. Their solution was to increase the number of group programs.
We actually have rolling admission groups now where you just start. It doesn't matter. People are in different weeks of the group and they learn from each other, which is great.
She says group therapy is successful and comfortable for many addictions clients, although those who prefer one-on-one treatment also have that option. But it frees up more time for the therapist to take single client appointments. They deal with addictions of all types, substances, gambling, online gaming, as well as concurrent conditions like depression or even psychosis. Dr. Ahmed Mansour says alcohol is the biggest addiction, followed by opioids, and they welcome both chronic as well as acute addiction patients.
Chronic, long-standing patients having addiction on the top of their underlying mental health, which is, we call it concurrent disorder, that go through the centralized intake. But for urgent patients, for example, people who visit the emergency room and they are willing to attend treatment at the withdrawal management center, they will have the service right away.
The programs here have been priceless for me. They have changed my life.
Addiction services can be accessed through one central line at 905-494-2120, extension 29385. And no doctor's referral is needed. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
As Taylor Swift's new album set streaming records, it also helped the pop star win the weekend box office. The film release party for Swift's album, The Life of a Showgirl, took over theaters this weekend. It offered a behind-the-scenes look at how the singer-songwriter's 12th album came together. Screenings of the film brought in $33 million across North America.
I need to find my daughter. Well, then call us back when you have the time.
One battle after another lost the top spot, but brought in more than $11 million U.S. in its second weekend. Critically acclaimed sports biopic The Smashing Machine opened in third place with $6 million, well below Hollywood forecasts.
One of Canada's most famous rock bands is reuniting. Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson of Rush say they'll be heading out on a North American tour next year. It'll be the first tour since 2015 and their first since drummer Neil Peart died of cancer in 2020. The tour, titled the 50-something Tour, will begin in Los Angeles in June. The band will play Scotiabank Arena on August 7th and 9th. After the break, speculation on ice. Connor McDavid signs a 2-year team-friendly extension to stay with the Oilers, while the NHL's biggest superstar took what's considered a discount deal.
One pitch at a time, one at-bat at a time, one game at a time.
Updating our top stories with a commanding 2-game lead in the American League Division Series. The Toronto Blue Jays are in New York tonight, gearing up to take on the Yankees tomorrow in the third and what could be final game of the series. Jays fans say they're feeling confident as the team hopes to finish the series with the sweep.
We're pulling Crown Royal off our shelves as soon as the last person leaves that plant. And then we'll look at Smirnoff's next.
Some of the most popular liquor brands could soon disappear from the shelves of Ontario liquor stores. Premier Doug Ford says unless multinational liquor maker Diageo changes plans to close a bottling plant in Ontario, other brands made by the company, including Smirnoff, Guinness, and Captain Morgan, could be pulled from store shelves. The Premier says as one of the largest alcohol purchasers in the world, Ontario will use that leverage to send a message to the manufacturer.
It's just been a complete joke, like zero engagement. So at that point, we thought, what are the options? And this looked like our only option left.
And residents of an Etobicoke neighborhood have launched legal action against their local city councilor, all over plans for a new shelter in the area. The 3rd Street location for a proposed 50-bed facility for seniors was chosen by city staff, but residents say they weren't consulted. The ward's councillor, Amber Morley, says she had nothing to do with the site selection and is supportive of the city moving forward with more supports for the unhoused.
Remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca and by downloading the CTV News app. And if you have a news tip, photos, or video of breaking news, let us know.
If you're a Tim Hortons customer, your morning cup of coffee will cost you a little more. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has those details.
Tim Hortons is raising its coffee prices for the first time in 3 years. The coffee chain will charge 1.5% more per pour, or about 3 cents a cup. Tim Hortons' input costs have risen, with the price of coffee beans alone more than doubling in the last 3 years. Advanced Micro Devices has announced a blockbuster deal with OpenAI. AMD says the deal will generate tens of billions of dollars in new revenue. OpenAI runs ChatGPT, and as part of the deal, will be able to pick up AMD stock for a penny a share. Barrick Mining selling its stake in Tongan Gold Mine in Ivory Coast. The 90% stake is being bought by the Atlantic Group for just over $300 million U.S. The deal is expected to close later this year. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down a fraction to 71.68. West Texas Intermediate crude is up to 61.34. Western Canadian Select up to 49.48. And the TSX hit another record high today, gaining 60 points and ending the day at 30,531. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
The Toronto Raptors preseason tips off tonight out west. The Raps square off against the Denver Nuggets in Vancouver. Toronto will be looking to get back to the playoffs after missing the postseason for a third straight year. They begin the regular season October 22nd in Atlanta. The home opener is October 24th against the Milwaukee Bucks. Tip-off tonight is just after 10 our time.
There was a collective sigh of relief in Edmonton today with the news the world's best hockey player is staying put. Connor McDavid posted, "Our journey here continues," after signing a 2-year, $25 million contract extension. The Oilers superstar is taking far less than market value in what is believed to be an effort to bolster the roster by leaving management more money to spend. The team says the dollar amount was McDavid's choice and not part of contract talks. The captain was set to become an unrestricted free agent on July 1st. The generational talent has had 5 straight 100-point seasons, but is still seeking that first Stanley Cup.
As the Jays and Yankees prepare for Game 3 tomorrow, both National League Division Series have their second games tonight. First up, the Philadelphia Phillies host the LA Dodgers. LA beat Philadelphia 5-3 in Game 1 to take the series lead. Shohei Ohtani had 9 strikeouts over 6 innings and allowed 3 runs.
Broken bat for Freeland on a ball to second. Corner boots it!
And the Milwaukee Brewers welcome the Chicago Cubs in the late game tonight. Milwaukee leads that series 1-0 after beating the Cubs 9-3 in their series opener. The other ALDS matchup between the Detroit Tigers and Seattle Mariners is tied up at 1 win apiece, with Game 3 set for tomorrow night. Just ahead, connecting to the world of science while sparking curiosity and imagination through play. Students get charged up for Science Literacy Week.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
As part of Science Literacy Week, a new event called What's Next kicked off today.
It's a collaboration between Ontario Power Generation, the Ontario Science Centre, and Ontario Tech University. CTV's Jessica Smith had some fun today.
Sparking curiosity and igniting imagination.
The truth about science is we all practice it. We all ask questions. We're all curious. Science is really all around us. It's within us. It's a mode of viewing the world.
As a part of Science Literacy Week and the province's new energy literacy program, a new website and initiative called What Next is helping to create more connections to the worlds of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Whatnext.ca is a new website that we've launched in partnership with OPG and Ontario Tech. It's incredible to have this opportunity to tie expertise together.
The Science Center's KidSpark Harbourfront location is just one of these satellite locations offering opportunities for students to get hands-on and learn.
We really want them excited about science and looking at getting into the trades, become an engineer. There's so many jobs that we'll need in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
The goal is to give students, parents, and educators all the tools to continue working towards a more sustainable future.
It was seeing my dad as a high school science teacher that got me interested in science. But in my later years now as an educator and the founder of an education company, I see just, how much need there is for it.
There will be interactive activations here at the Kids Park Harbourfront Ontario Science Centre location throughout the week and over the course of the year for students interested in careers and the future of science and energy. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
Does look like fun.
She said it's pretty tough. What a day. What'd you do today? I was riding a bike with a robot.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Look at this sunset. Gorgeous. But we do have a change coming.
Yeah, sunset time is officially now. So we are finding that the evenings are getting a little bit darker, especially for those of us who finish our work at 7 p.m. Here's a look at what you can expect into tomorrow morning. It is going to be warm overnight. The cool down comes more so tomorrow, but we have a few showers that are going to begin overnight and follow us through the morning and perhaps into the afternoon as well. So this is a bit of a forecast radar loop just to show you what we're dealing with. Maybe some embedded thunderstorms, some heavy amounts of rain in some areas. Right now it looks like Hamilton over toward Niagara especially. But some much needed rain for us too, hopefully in and around the GTA. After that, it is sunshine. It is cooler for sure, but it looks like the temperatures are going to rebound to more seasonal values for the long weekend. Nathan and Michelle.
Wow, the long weekend already. All right, thank you, Lindsay. That's it for us, but be sure to join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and the whole team here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a great night.